Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, no matter where you're watching this presentation from. My name is Michael Firth, one of the founding Field Advisory Board members and Crowns with Neumi. And it's my pleasure to be your presenter for the next 20 to 30 minutes as we go through a complete opportunity overview of Neumi, which will cover everything from the amazing scientific breakthrough called hydrostat that delivers nutrients in a way that's never been done before, right through to the tail end where we'll talk about the business behind the breakthrough. Now, before I get into this presentation, I'll just give you a quick background of where I come from, because I don't know about you, but sometimes I watch a presentation, I'm thinking, who is this person? How do they qualify to talk on the topic? So if I take you back 17 years ago, I was a national sales coach in the Australian-New Zealand mortgage market, and I was loving my job. Maybe you love your job with a passion, but what I'd found, and maybe you found this too, the further I went up in the corporate world, the more money I earned and the less life I really had. And it was actually my kids that said, "Dad, we never see you." So I was looking for a way out, and someone happened to approach me about a glutathione breakthrough 17 years ago. And I got started with that company on the side, and I don't make ridiculous projections, no Ferraris and Lamborghinis and rubbish like that. It was just a way of me replacing that corporate income with about 20% of the hours in the long run. And I ended up free of that sort of life, if you like. And I've never looked back. Now, what's the relevance to Neumi? Well, the founder of that particular company was a gentleman by the name of Stephen K. Scott. You'll hear about him during the presentation today. Steve was the founder of that company. He went into retirement, and of course, it was like they removed the heart after that. And so about 7 years ago, Steve became a great friend of mine, and he said he was looking for investors for a brand new delivery method. And I helped Steve find the investors for this breakthrough we're going to talk about today. And the rest is history. We're now in 74 countries around the world after 4 years with about 200,000 members. So let's get into it and cover off what is Neumi and who are Neumi. So essentially, we are the trailblazers, the innovators, and we're dedicated to revolutionizing health and wellness through our cutting edge technology, which is hydrostat molecular encapsulation delivery system. So what is hydrostat? We're going to talk about that a lot today. That is our game changer. So we have solved a problem. And they say if you want to be successful in business, find a problem and solve it. And the facts are that 90% of oral supplements are not fully absorbed by the body, which means a fraction of the nutrients get to where they need to be, and most goes down the toilet. So we solved that with this concept called hydrostat. And effectively what we do is we deliver nutrients directly into the bloodstream in 30 seconds without going through the gut, and then within 70 seconds directly to the organ. So we'll talk more about it today. So firstly, let's talk about the three things that make us unique. The first one is cell size. So we're going to talk about millimicrons or nanometers. So our ingredients are between 10 and 100 nanometers. Now, just to put it in context, if you're talking about other products, if you took a human hair, can't even see it on the screen, 80 to 100,000 nanometers. Put that in your brain for a moment. We take our ingredients down under 10. Now, if you're looking at liposomals, which use fats to deliver them, lipids, fats attract toxins, but not only that, even the best of the best liposomals are somewhere between 60 up to 300 nanometers, which means they don't even penetrate the blood-brain barrier because you need to be under 30. When you're down to 10, you can absorb in places no one else can, and that's what makes our product very different. So the first one is cell size. The next one is, just to give you a quick science lesson, that diagram on the right shows you how a normal human cell will absorb nutrition. And in the first example, it shows you that only the part of the molecule that touches a cell is how much it can absorb. When we nanosize, we can get up to 200 times greater surface contact, magnifying the results of the same ingredient. Now, when we're talking about delivery, as I said, liposomal, which is an older technology now, they use fats or lipids. We use ultra purified water molecules, which are purer than a hospital IV ohms rating, which means your body loves pure water. So just before we start, as I said, these are the three things that nobody else has that makes our product delivery method so unique. So let's talk about, now that we've talked about that, let's talk about how we get the products into the cells, and let's talk about glutathione. So glutathione, if you haven't heard of it before, is the master antioxidant of your cells. It's the protector, the detoxifier of your cells. It's the key to life, health, performance, protection, and longevity of every single human cell. In fact, glutathione also recycles itself, recycles other antioxidants like vitamin D and C and so forth. So as an example, when I got into this space 17 years ago, there was about maybe 60,000 studies on vitamin C and a similar amount of studies on glutathione. Today, Guess what? There's now more. This slide's outdated. There's 195,000 studies on PubMed for glutathione, but there's only 78,000 on vitamin C that we take for granted. What does that say? It's an emerging market. Okay. So, what do doctors have to say? Well, we've all heard of Dr. Oz recently on TV. He says it's the most powerful antioxidant you've never heard of. It's the key to fighting off diseases you fear the most. Dr. Katz, director of Yale University Prevention Research Center, says if you're chronically run down, if you're chronically fatigued, if your body is just not firing in all cylinders, low glutathione might be part of it, maybe even the cause and the effect. So as your body ages, and I'm now 57, and I started supplementing glutathione at 40, you'll find that your levels drop from 10 to 12% per decade from about 18 to 20 years of age, according to the experts. And then you can see the oxidative stress levels increase when the two lines cross. That's when the nasties happen. So continuous attacks on your cells by the invasion of toxins, heavy metals, exposure to radiation, free radicals all cause damage and expedite the aging process. Okay. And any extra trauma to the cells, like injuries, infections, diseases. In fact, if you're a sports person, we have phenomenal people breaking world records on this product. You actually burn 40% of your internal stored up levels of glutathione in the first 10 minutes of any aerobic exercise. So high levels are associated with an extensive number of health, performance, and anti-aging benefits, but low-level signs are these. Maybe you can consider some of them. Weakened immune system, physical and mental fatigue, muscle weakness and aches, inflammation, premature aging and disease, dull and dry skin, grey hair, balding, brain fog, headaches, digestive issues, allergies, weight gain. Ever had any of those? It could be low levels of glutathione. What are signs of high levels of glutathione? Boosted immune system, sustained mental and physical energy, especially with exercise, optimal athletic performance, balanced inflammation, delayed aging and disease, healthy, radiant skin, decreased graying and balding, balanced digestion, reduced allergic reactions, and weight management. So let's have a look at our Hydrostat product breakdown doing exactly this. Now, the first disclaimer I need to say is our products are nutrition. Nutrition is never designed to treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Only drugs can claim that. So with that in mind, what's the first problem we came across? Well, we mentioned glutathione, but guess what? Glutathione decreases with age and environment, leaving no practical way to get it in the cells because it's a fragile molecule. If you take it orally, it will get destroyed by the digestive process. So we have invented a product where we circumvent the need to go through the gut. So NutraSwish was the very first product that we invented. And it uses our Hydrostat technology to nanosize not just glutathione, but also cysteine, which is a building block of glutathione. So when you use the product, you don't just get an instant hit of glutathione in 70 seconds, you also get cysteine that helps the body to continue to produce glutathione. But there's also things like curcumin, vitamin C, which are all ingredients that help glutathione do its job better. So how do you use the product? Real simple. Take off one of these double caps. There are 60 of these, which is 30 of these. It's a month's supply. You swish it in your mouth like a mouthwash, and then after about 30 seconds to a minute, swallow, and boom, everything's already happened. So what sort of benefits do people see? Immune boost, joint support, clean and sustained energy, rapid recovery. Now, what's another problem? Well, skincare rarely gets past the first layer of the skin, resulting in the need for many products. Very expensive, as you know. Skincare is also complex, ineffective, and expensive, and contains lots of harmful ingredients. In fact, a friend of mine is a skincare educator for beauty therapists worldwide, and she says 0.03% of ingredients get past the first layer of the skin because the molecule's too big. That's why they have invasive processes to try and get past the first layer of the skin. We've circumvented the need for that because the particles are so small. So we use the same Hydrostat technology, and we've nanosized glutathione, but also hyaluronic acid, which attracts moisture to the skin, curcumin, which is a bit of an antiviral, collagen, which is like the springs in your mattress, keeping your skin tight. And what sort of results do we see? Phenomenal. It helps reduce pore size, smooth skin texture, lifts and firms, brightens and evens the skin tone, reduces fine lines and wrinkles appearance, and of course fights skin aging pollutants. What's another problem? Finding a clean solution for energy and focus. People often resolve to using low energy for or energy drinks and that sort of stuff with harmful stimulants. And of course, we know so many toxins in those terrible energy drinks. So what about natural energy instead? Now, this is not available in every market of the world, so check with the person who invited you. However, Neuro is using the same hydrostat process of shrinking particles and deliver them like never before, using things like arginine, magnesium gluconate, L-theanine, caffeine, and other nutrients which are beneficial for the health. In fact, this product has been endorsed by the American Brain Council for enhanced memory, improved mood, increased focus, rapid energy, and heightened cognitive performance. And brain health is a big topic these days as we get older. Another problem. Today's environmental disruptors are having an increasing negative effect on women's health and hormones. So with that in mind, again, not in every market of the world, but we've launched this new product called HERS. And what it takes is we use hydrostat to deliver botanical ingredients formula, which is carefully selected for women's health. So what does it do? It helps alleviate bloating, cramps, and PMS, supports healthy immune function, helps with hot flashes and night sweats, and enhances mood and overall well-being, including libido. And I can tell you this product has been amazing. We had a double-blind placebo-controlled test and said 80% of women had phenomenal results using this product. Then let's talk about the final product we've only just launched at the time of this presentation, and that is the next problem is hair health. So healthy hair and scalp can sometimes be elusive due to issues like dryness, dandruff, thinning, and often caused by environmental factors and hormonal changes and improper hair care. So we've invented a product that uses the same hydrostat process, which is a leave-in hair therapy, and it delivers amazing ingredients, but again, nano size to absorb way beyond the first layer of the skin, which normal products cannot do. What does it do? Hair strengthening, scalp health, moisture and smoothness, heat protection, and increased hair density. We'll show you some pictures in a minute that'll blow your mind. Now, there's some testimonials. We'll go through all the product range. Now, I said earlier that young people, well, all ages of people, burn 40% of the stored up levels of glutathione in their cells in the first 10 minutes of exercise. My son, Lachlan, on the screen, is a 24-year-old powerlifting athlete, personal trainer, and gym manager. And in his 3 weeks into the product, he was hitting personal bests months out from his next competition. By week 4, he actually did a massive personal best of 270 kilograms to 2 deadlifts for this first time ever, and he's gone on to do more and more and more since then. So again, doesn't matter what age group you are, if you're in sports, you're going to burn the available glutathione levels, so you need to replenish, and this is a way to do that no matter what age you are. Then again, let's talk about a different product. This is Danae from Louisiana, 34-year-old homeschooling mother of 3. That's a big task on its own. She said, as soon as I started using NutraSwish on day 1, I immediately had more energy. But then when I started using the HERS product, before that, I'd have mood swings, bloating, and breast tenderness. However, since she's been using it, she's found she doesn't have any PMS symptoms at all. Let's go on to sports with nutrition. This is Greg from Christchurch, New Zealand. He's actually the same age as me, and he has been into competitive mountain bike racing now for most of his adult life. In his 20s, he would do a half-day event and have nothing left in the tank. Now at 58, he's able to go out and do multiple days of riding with the energy to spare. His mental clarity is sharp, and he has no muscle soreness and faster recovery. Let's go to the neuro product for your brain. This is Jean from Hawaii, a 55-year-old natural health and skincare specialist. And she says the most amazing testimonial. Wow, neuro is a noticeable cognitive focus, clarity, memory, and energy boosting, get a ton of stuff done swish that I won't go a day without. Anyone who knows me knows I have attention span deficit, and this is over and above the incredible benefits from NutraSwish, which helps with those things as well. Let's talk about someone getting older, 61. Keith, good friend of mine from Louisiana. After suffering almost a year with severe discomfort in his neck and shoulder from an injury, 48 hours after beginning using NutraSwish, he awoke realizing he slept all night long for the first time. Eventually, without discomfort, he was able to return to his exercise routine and days stronger than ever before. And I can attest the same thing at 57. So let's talk about some before and afters using the skin product. This is Elaine from South Australia. She's a client of the lady I said who was a skincare educator, and they took before and after photographs. And until they did, they didn't see the difference. But Elaine swears she never lost any weight during this period. But have a look at the puffiness in the neck on the left to the right. All that is the collagen tightening up the skin. Notice the appearance of redness, fine lines, and pore size. The results on this one are off the charts. Let's move on to a different skin type, Indonesia. This is Linda from Ambon. She said before using Neumi Skin, her skin was dull and rough, but after 17 days, we can see how clear and soft it was. And she also reported feeling stronger and more enthusiastic, sleeping deeper because of NutraSwish. Let's move on to other skin types around the world. This is actually a woman who is in 80s from Nigeria, and she was using the product 3 to 4 times a day, and her results are amazing. Look at the skin tone, and that's melanin balancing levels. 4 weeks. This lady had a turkey neck, Donna from Texas. She was overjoyed with the results after 8 weeks, and you can see her neck looks like it aged backwards. I started spraying my neck specifically and doing it 3 or 4 times a day, and again, I saw the same thing, and I'm 57. And this is our poster girl. I said earlier that I helped find the investors for this 7 years ago. Well, a friend of mine who was with us from day one testing the product was Sherry. And so she was one of the very first people to use Neumi Skin and look at the before and after. I remember saying to Steve Scott, the founder, I said, that's got to be Photoshop. Now, I know Sherry personally, and when you meet her in person, it's even more profound. So you'd probably agree she looks like her younger sister, and she's 62. Wait till you see one in a minute. Then we get to the brand new hair product. This is Rick in Utah, and you can see the before and after, just blows my mind. And he says, I was happy to be invited to participate in the trial group for this new product, and given the amazing results, I'm going to continue using it. Look at the results after 1 month. Check this one out. This is Jamie. It's actually Keith's wife in Louisiana. After using Neumi hair for 5 months, I'm finally able to wear my hair shoulder length and put it in ponytail. The result in my self-esteem and confidence is through the roof. 5 months. See even better results after 5 months. This one blows my mind. This is Sherry again. Look at the hair. Keep in mind, she's in her 60s. After years of amazing results with Neumi Skin, I had high expectations of the hair product, and wow, did it exceed them. The photo shows I feel elegant and confident, and my hair speaks for itself. Healthy hair makes a statement. And I think health in general, before we talk about wealth now, the first wealth you have is health. If you don't have health, you don't have any wealth. You can have as much money in the bank as you like, but if you don't have health, you got nothing. Now, if you'd like to see all of these images and way, 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 way more, including people breaking world records in sports, go to Neumi New You on Facebook. That's the official company group. If you're seeing any other groups, they're for individuals. They're not the company ones. This is the only official group. Highly recommend you join that one. And in there, you'll see amazing before and afters. So where did all this come from? Who was the visionary? The gentleman I talked about at the start, Steve Scott, great friend of mine. If you don't know Steve, you've been touched by Steve in some way in your life, because Steve has spent his whole life searching for breakthrough products and then purchasing the rights for those products and marketing them on TV. Over the years, Steve has generated $4 billion in revenue with the Total Gym, for example. And he was ready to retire till he rang me and said, listen, guess what? I found the biggest breakthrough in my entire life. And that's how Neumi got launched from there. Now, the first person we brought on board was our president and CEO, Aaron Rennett, because Steve is great as a visionary, amazing in all of that, but his expertise was not in operational running the business. So we brought in someone who had experience, many years in the industry, and he'd already taken another company around the world, but he's done it at warp speed by comparison here. And he said his aim is to ensure that Neumi is the most field-driven, responsive company in the industry. And I can say, having dealt with lots of people in this industry, he's the most responsive CEO I've ever heard in my life. It's amazing. Then we have a science and medical advisory board. Now, members of the Neumi Medical Advisory Board who test all these products all the time are on a voluntary basis. No one gets paid. They're only doing this because they love the product and they've never seen any delivery method as effective. And some of them are Stanford heart transplant surgeons. Others are Mayo Clinic scientists. We've got everyone. And they don't get paid. They volunteer. What does it say about the product breakthrough? So let's talk about execution. I mentioned before, Steve Scott was behind the Total Gym infomercials on TV. So we could have gone straight into using infomercial TV programs, but instead we chose the home-based business industry. Why is that? Well, these stats are around when we launched. They've improved since then, but at the time that we launched, you remember COVID had just launched as well. And more people since then have been looking for home-based businesses, and most people were displaced in the security of their income. And of course, the industry during that period went up 3.3%, 128 million people involved. Once we got started in the industry, we trumped those results. We're now in 74 countries, a couple of 100,000 members. And the reasons are our compensation plan is unmatched. I'll talk about that. And we have revolutionary tools for free. We have a field-driven philosophy and free membership perks. Like, for example, some companies are, charging $1,000 a year for a travel platform to sell. We give it to you for free. Steve Scott wrote a program which is all about mentored by a millionaire, charges about $600 a year for that. We give you that for free. So there's all sorts of things you get for nothing. All of our tools are free. We don't charge for anything. So when you go about to watch this part of the presentation, having understood the breakthrough, this is the business behind the breakthrough. So we leverage the power of this. Now, you might just be looking for a return on investment. Maybe you want to get your product for free. That's easy. I'm going to show you how to do that quick. Maybe you want some residual income. We'll talk about how that could develop. Or maybe, like me, you wanted to develop a legacy asset you could will to your kids. And that was the reason for me getting involved. So whatever it is for you, we can help you. Now, I want to say a quick income disclosure statement. Our earnings in Neumi are based on individual effort, commitment, sales skills, and market conditions, and with results varying among members because, some people, everyone loves them. Some people cross the street to get away from them. So everyone's results are going to vary. Neumi doesn't guarantee specific income or success, but we do have a plan that shows you exactly what you learn at each rank that you develop. So let's talk about compensation. Firstly, I want to say this. It says here on the page, we pay 43% out on weekly commissions. Now, just quickly, we actually pay in total 53 cents in the dollar. Now, just as an example, the average company, if you go to Business for Home and you type in for most companies, they come up between 24 cents in the actual dollar and 38 cents in the actual dollar. Don't be bamboozled by these PV/BV ratios of other compensation plans. That's just a way of showing you a figure that's inflated. The truth is how much they pay of the dollar. Now, we don't have a PV/BV ratio. We are 1 point equals $1. Totally transparent. No BV. So we're paying a lot more than every other company I've come across in the industry. So the first one is the weekly commissions. How does this work? Well, as you introduce people, there's a word in the industry called sponsor. That means introducing someone, industry term. You'll earn 25% on all initial orders from all new members and customers. And then ongoing, every time a customer purchases, you'll get paid 25% ongoing. Now, this is where it really gets interesting though. Who do they know that you don't know? You can earn another 6 levels at 3% per generation from people they know, they know, they know, they know, and they know. And this is why it took off for us. This took off much faster than even retail did before COVID killed retail for everyone. So then we move into the first monthly commission. And this is like a roadmap. It's called the Power of Three. And it's just designed to say you don't need to go out and find thousands of customers. In fact, all we're looking at doing is saying, okay, could you do a baby step? What's the baby step? Well, when you have 3 active members who purchase $100 worth of product a month, then you'll earn an extra $50 in this commission on top of all the other commissions. Then we want you to teach the very basic baby steps. 3, find 3. Help those 3 find 3, then you'll earn $250 from this bonus on top of all the other bonuses. But you also need to accompany that with the rank of senior member, which I'll show you in a minute. Level 3, you can earn $1,500 a month on top of all the other bonuses. And that is by helping 3 by 3 by 3. So it's really simple. This is like a roadmap. Now, I must say it's 3 or more. We don't aim at 3 because how many tires does a car have? People say 4. No, they have 5. There's always a spare. So in order to sustain this, we encourage people to go as wide as maybe 6 members to have at least 3 that are qualifying every month. That's the way it's designed to be built. Then we have the leadership bonus pool. I love this. It's like a global profit sharing system. So you might be building a business, like for me, I'm in Australia, but 95% of my business is in about 40 other countries in about 12 different languages from people who knew people who knew people. But even if my business wasn't in a country, and I can think of only one that it's not, right? Then I'll still profit share on that because the leadership bonus says this: 6% of global monthly purchases from members goes into a pool. And then if you are a two-star, you will share in a 1% global bonus pool with all the other two stars. Then when you reach 3-star, there's another pool to share in, but there's less 3-stars, isn't there? As you rank to diamond, then double diamond, triple diamond, and crown, you share in those as well. And they're all cumulative as well. Then we get on to what we call the uni level for long-term growth. How this works is automatic qualification. As a brand new member, you qualify for 7% on 3 generations immediately, as you can see, just by using 100 points yourself and then recommending people 3 levels deep. In order to unlock levels 4, you need a total turnover, as shown here, in your team of 1,500. Once you have 1,500 total turnover, then you can see you get level 4. Now go to the full compensation plan for details and little quirks and so forth, but that's in simple terms how it works. Then move on. When you have 5,000 turnover, you become a 1-star, you unlock level 5. When you have 10,000 group turnover from you and all your team, you actually unlock level 6. And there's no structural requirements there. You notice that? We know people who do podcasts and, they're influencers and they can sell lots of product. Doesn't mean they duplicate, but they can sell lots of product. And of course, they could rank up to those ranks. Moving on from there, the next ranks require structure. So you can see here a 3-star says 20,000 turnover, but you also need to duplicate 2 1-star legs. Pretty simple. And that's the 1-star back here. And so that's where you unlock all 7 levels. Through diamond, double diamond, triple diamond, and crown, it shows you the ranks and the volume required, all exactly the same till you get to crown, and then there's an extra percent put on level 7. Okay. Then this is where it gets exciting. We've launched some new ranks. And so myself as a crown, there's, 1, 2, 3 other crowns in the team. You know what? Now we have a new goal, which is double crown. 6 2-star legs with 1 million volume. The infinity jumps to 30,000. And when you get to 6 3-star legs with 2.5 million volume, the infinity jump bonus for the month jumps to 50,000. And then when you have 6 diamond legs and 5 million volume, the infinity caps out at $100,000 per month US. So just pointing this out, these are the caps of the infinity bonuses from level 8 to infinity, from all the ranks from diamond through to crown. Now, just remember, and President here, these are only the infinity bonus. So on top of that is all the other bonuses. Depending on the size and structure of the business, it could be anywhere up to double that in the total check. It just depends, okay? So let's talk about, as we wrap up, support and next steps. So you don't have to create anything. Often people have a great company with a great compensation plan and a crap product. Other times people have a good product and a really bad compensation plan. We've got both of those, but we also have a system from day one. All members that come into Neumi don't have to create anything because we've created the systems and processes for you. So we have training videos on everything you can dream of, already done, business planning tools, access to marketing assets. We have a free Neumi app we give you that most companies charge 15 US a month for. Company Facebook groups, you don't have to create a Facebook group. They're all in the one group. And then weekly calls on Neumi TV for ongoing engagement. Now, all of that is free. We have a system called Neumi 123 ABC. Every single person on the planet is doing exactly the same process, and that's why we've grown so fast. We have systemized this business. It's not just a great product, not just a great compensation plan. It is a great system that is easily replicated in every language as well, and we give you tools for that system, so no systems for you to create. So, as we wrap up, I want to thank you for joining us on the presentation today, and you have 3 key options. Number 1, you're ready to get started. Reach out to the person and say, sign me up, get me going. Or 2, I want to try the product. Fantastic. Reach out to the person who invited you, try the product, and then maybe come on board. Or maybe you've got more information you want, and that's totally fine as well. I'd encourage you to do the research. The person who has invited you has a free app with gazillions of videos in there to answer every single question they can send you. So I'd encourage you to reach out to them for more information. So I want to thank you for attending the presentation today, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one. All the best.